Hello, my name is John Engates and I'm Field CTO at Cloudflare. I want to talk to you today about something I call an accidental strategy and how, just like cloud, soon you'll be putting the internet at the center of your digital and network transformation strategy. Let's go back in time and remember the cloud back in 2010. If you recall, no one at that time was really moving all their workloads to the cloud. Very few actually believed cloud could ever replace dedicated servers or virtualization. And from a security standpoint, the idea of public cloud seemed kind of silly. Who in their right mind would really want to put their data in a shared public cloud connected to the internet? But cloud was happening. One by one, applications were being moved or built in the cloud. Developers at startups, they were the earliest adopters, and then soon larger organizations were also building in the cloud. Companies like banks and retailers, manufacturers, and even the public sector. The developers were simply embracing better technology that made their lives easier. They no longer needed to open a ticket to get their infrastructure. Cloud was more automated, it was programmable, and it was infinitely composable. All they had to do was make requests via an API. At the same time, organizations were moving to software as a service. Business units were choosing SaaS over their legacy software vendors. And CEOs were being asked by their boards and their investors, what's your cloud strategy? And they'd turn to their CIO or their CTO and they'd ask, what are we doing with the cloud? This is what I describe as an accidental cloud strategy. It certainly wasn't intentional. The fact is, companies couldn't foresee that they were going to move so many apps to the cloud so quickly. And you can understand why. Cloud didn't seem ready for it. It lacked features, it wasn't as fast or reliable, the architecture was totally different, and because of the shared nature of cloud, it was perceived as less secure. But it was good enough, and cloud would get better quickly. It was actually evolving faster than what it was replacing. And contrary to the initial skepticism, the cloud would eventually be seen as more secure and more reliable of what came before. A company starting from scratch today would never build or buy a data center, and even most large enterprises are embracing a cloud-first strategy, and a number have moved significant number of workloads to SaaS and cloud. Now let's pivot over and talk about the network that underpins all of this digital transformation. The same way that the cloud disrupted the enterprise data center, the internet is disrupting the enterprise WAN. No one could have predicted the shift to 100% remote work, but almost overnight, the pandemic pushed users to the internet. Because really there was no other choice. Thankfully, SaaS and cloud were internet native, users had home broadband. Cloud-based software meant users working from home via the internet could continue to be productive even during a global pandemic. But the internet was never really meant to take on this role of a corporate network backbone. And once again, we'll call this an accidental strategy. Some companies did 2 years worth of digital transformation in a few months. But just because you have a remote workforce, does it mean the internet is your global network? Well, for new or small companies, yes. Their infrastructure is 100% cloud, their workers are remote, there's no branch offices, they're in their corporate WAN, that's the internet for all practical purposes. Larger companies, however, are caught between the past and the future state of their network. They didn't predict remote or hybrid work. Their networks are still architected for a workforce that comes into the office. The network architecture is really a hub and spoke architecture, and the security strategy is still perimeter-based, that old castle and moat architecture. The VPN is the primary means of remote access. But this is not the world we live in. All the interesting stuff is out there on the internet. Users are working from anywhere, and applications are moving to the cloud faster than ever. As for security, it's almost impossible to draw a perimeter around anything, but the security threats are real and increasingly sophisticated, and they're most commonly delivered via malware or phishing attacks targeted at those end users. Enterprise IT leaders are once again facing the prospect of an accidental network strategy. We know the use of SaaS and cloud is only going to increase. The center of gravity has already moved out of the campus network and data center. Hybrid work is here to stay, and users are increasingly using only the internet. So I'd argue that the internet should be placed at the center of your networking strategy and your security strategy. Branch office circuits and even parts of the enterprise WAN will begin to be phased out over time. So how do we transform the network in the face of all this change? How do we make the internet secure, reliable, and private enough for all our enterprise workloads? Zero Trust has emerged as the leading approach to security for this new internet-first paradigm. Zero Trust is a model that moves away from security via traditional network-based perimeters and instead focuses on users, assets, and resources. No implicit trust is granted based solely on network or physical location. We have to assume that attackers are already in our network, so we must treat all networks equally, basically untrusted. SASE, or Secure Access Service Edge, brings together this zero trust security approach with a networking as a service capability and leverages the internet edge to provide the on-ramps for users and devices. Security functions are performed as close to the end user as possible, and these services are cloud native and internet centric. No more of these physical firewall appliances or appliances running in VMs. A zero trust network and SASE, they truly modernize the VPN and provide users access only to the applications they need. No more and no less access than absolutely required. Here at Cloudflare, we have been bringing customers large and small into the modern era of security and networking as a service via our global network. Our 270 points of presence around the globe provide the network on-ramps, and then we leverage the internet and our own global backbone to improve performance and reliability and increase privacy and security. We're essentially helping build a better internet. In fact, that's our company motto. We're protecting websites, applications, and APIs from a broad range of threats and vulnerabilities. And with Cloudflare Zero Trust, we're safeguarding users wherever they may live and work. And we're doing this seamlessly and globally via a platform we expose via a simple dashboard, a single API, and a unified set of policy. We integrate with existing identity and access management services and endpoint security capabilities and provide end-to-end security for all companies. Cloudflare helped BlockFi halt the DDoS and API attacks that were plaguing them and allowed systems to return to normal within a few hours. They decided to pursue a more comprehensive organizational security transformation to protect its workforce and sensitive data with Cloudflare Zero Trust. This platform includes a Zero Trust network access solution to protect applications across cloud and on-premises environments, along with a secure web gateway solution to provide threat protection from ransomware, phishing, and other internet-based threats. All of BlockFi's high-value internal applications are now secured behind the Cloudflare ZTNA solution, including 2 applications that handle sensitive data and represent an estimated 70% of BlockFi's mission-critical applications. BlockFi is just one example of a long list of companies who are taking advantage of Cloudflare's global network edge to provide on-ramps to Zero Trust and to protect their applications and APIs from DDoS attacks, bots, and a range of other threats. Every day, we're working with customers who want an intentional network and security strategy, not an accidental one. A network strategy built for the internet, for SaaS, cloud, and for remote users. One that's programmable and can adapt quickly to change. They want to take advantage of networking as a service and deploy security as code. They certainly don't want to be caught off guard like the early days of cloud. They see the future and realize that they need a network strategy that's prepared for whatever may come. So let me just close by saying, don't end up with an accidental strategy. Instead, put in place a network to support your company's overall digital transformation initiatives, put the internet at the center of your network and your security architecture, and enable seamless remote access to all of your applications wherever they live. And adopt Zero Trust to protect your users and applications from attack. Secure your future with Cloudflare. Thank you.